Welcome, all listeners, to the Unveil the Future Season 4, the podcast series by VinFuture Foundation. I'm Sun Thuy, Marketing Communication Specialist at the VinFuture Foundation, and it is my pleasure to host this new season. As we open this season, we are pleased to share that the VinFuture Prize 2026 is currently opening for nominations, and we warmly invite members of the global scientific community to take part in identifying and putting forward scientific breakthroughs with the potential to benefit humanity at scale. To learn more about the nomination process or to submit a nomination, please scan the QR code displayed on the screen. Thank you. As VinFuture continues to grow into a global platform for scientific recognition, one guiding question remains central to everything we do. How can science be advanced in a way that truly serves people, societies, and future generations? This question became especially important in fields such as artificial intelligence, where innovation moves rapidly, but responsibility must move just as fast. To explore how this balance can be achieved and what it truly means for science to serve humanity, we are joined today by a leading global voice in AI ethics, standards, and responsible innovation. Please, we are delighted to welcome Professor Edson Prestes. He is currently a full professor at the Institute of Informatics, Federal University of Rio Grande do Sul, Brazil, and a globally respected authority in AI ethics, robotics standards, and responsible technological development. Beyond his academic contributions, he plays a highly influential role in shaping how AI is governed worldwide. Through his leadership within the IEEE Standards, his work with global policy bodies, and his active engagement with international scientific communities. Professor Prestes is one of VinFuture's most active nominators, playing a vital role in identifying scientific work with the potential to create meaningful and real-world impact. He also joined us in Vietnam last December during the VinFuture Sci-Tech Week 2025 as a speaker in the symposium, AI Ethics and Safety for Humanity, where his perspective resonates strongly with scientists, policymakers, and young researchers alike. Today, we have the privilege of hearing his reflections drawn from decades of research, standards settings, and global engagement on how science, ethics, and responsibility can move forward together in the age of artificial intelligence. Hello, Professor Estes. It is great to see you again since last December. So how are you feeling today?
I'm very happy to be here. Thank you so much for your kind invitation to join this interview. I'm very happy to interact again with the VinFuture Foundation. I have excellent memories from our past interaction, and I'm here to talk with you and share some ideas. And thank you so much again.
I'm glad to hear that. Okay, so before we explore the broader questions of ethics and responsibility in AI, I would like to take a step back and look at how VinFuture became part of your scientific journey. So you have long been engaged in global discussion on AI ethics, standards, and responsible innovation. Could you please share how you first became acquainted with the VinFuture Prize, whether through your colleagues, academic networks, or even professional engagement?
Directly through VinFuture Foundation. So I received a message, an invitation, in fact, to be an official nominator for the VinFuture Prize. So it was my very first interaction with the foundation and also with the award. So before that, I was not aware about the VinFuture Prize.
Thank you for sharing that. So building on that experience, I'm quite curious that when you learned, what stood out to you in this vision and what made you feel that this was the platform you want to actively support? Not just as a participant, but as nominator.
Yeah, that's quite interesting because when I received the invitation, I checked the award, I checked the mission of the foundation, mission of the award, and I saw that the mission, the goals were pretty aligned with my mission as a human in this planet. Yeah, because I mentioned to you that I have a background in computer science, and after that, I moved to the policy space. The reason why I make this movement is because I would like to give a real contribution to the humanity. So not the only contribution in terms of technical paper, but a contribution to the governance, to try to to make a change in the human life, uh, improving the quality of life, standard of living, the people that are underserved. And when I saw the mission of this award and also the foundation, I realized that would be very nice, excellent if I could join and also to identify people that are also aligned with this vision, with this goal to promote the development of science for humanity.
That perspective connects very closely to your on-the-ground experience with the VinFuture as well. So last December, you visit Vietnam and participate in the VinFuture Sci-Tech Week 2025 at the symposium AI Ethics and Safety for Humanity. So how was your experience back then, like especially through your close interaction with scientists, policymakers, or even young researchers in Vietnam? Like what left the strongest impression on you about the scientific community that is emerging here?
It was amazing. It was totally amazing. The best possible experience. I must confess that it was one of the best business travel that I did in my life because of for several reasons, like the commitment that I saw in the organization, in the event, the high level scientists that participate in the event, the policymaker, the commitment of the young researcher, the Vietnam society make us very comfortable if feel at home. So it's not only the event, but the everything. The interact with people, local people, the interact with young scientists, research, the high level speakers. Because I had lunch with a high level experts, very high level. In my view, like people that has the chance to be Nobel awardee. So the organization was perfect. The selection of the speaker. So I have excellent memories from the Vietnam, from the VinFuture Sci-Tech. I strongly recommend anyone that want to participate in this event or has some doubts about the award or the event per se.
Okay, your journey with VinFuture also reflects a deeper commitment to recognizing science with real-world value. So this also leads us naturally to the topic, scientific recognition and responsibility. So as one of these distinguished top nominators, what drives your sustained engagement with the VinFuture initiative? And which research areas do you tend to prioritize? Like, what draws your attention to those fields in particular?
That's a quite interesting question, and for me, it's not easy to reply because I do not have a specific subject or domain in mind when I provide my recommendation. What I have in mind is what concrete achievement the person did. So maybe this achievement could be in the area of medicine or transportation or energy or robotics or artificial intelligence. That depends. What draw my attention is the impact, the potential impact. So in the potential impact in the community that is waiting for that impact. Imagine the situation that someone that is do not have the ability to walk, to move. And if someone creates some kind of technology or creates some specific medicine that can give them back dignity, mobility, that is something that matters to me. If you maybe you can improve the quality of service or find new ways to help people in the very dangerous environments, many poor people, that is something that matters to me. So I do not have a specific domain. What I have in mind is what can real contribute to the society.
You mentioned the importance of impact and responsibility. And yet, I have seen many groundbreaking ideas that emerge in the laboratories, but they are struggle to translate into a real-world impact. So based on your experience, what are the most critical factors that enable research in AI or even robotics to move responsibly from theory to global application?
That is that remember a bit my domain, in fact, and how the people sometimes interact with the science and also each other. I believe sometimes what is missing is humility to understand that each stakeholder has a particular view of innovation. So I understand that I have all technical capability to create innovation, but this innovation is aligned with what humanity really needs, is aligned with the global prosperity. Sometimes you are creating innovation by innovation, science by science. You create a new algorithm that are improving or diminish the time of some data is processed. That's nice. I can publish maybe in the high top journal. But what would be the impact on the society? And sometimes when you want to create something for the global prosperity, it's necessary to move beyond the laboratory. It's necessary to interact with people that you are not in general interact. Like as a roboticist, if I want to create a piece of technology that will interact with children, it's necessary to have a body of experts, like psychologists, psychiatrists. I need to have the community itself that is recipient of this technology. And I need, again, humility to understand that I do not have all the answers. So multidisciplinarity in that sense is something that is missing, extremely important if you want to move from the laboratory to the global society. In addition, of course, we need also some settings, environment settings to create all this development. Like it's very important to have experimentation environments for testing, foster collaboration among the multiple stakeholders, like sandbox. Sometimes it's not only a sandbox, like a laboratory, but also experimental cities. We need to have a support from the government, that is very important, to adopt and develop norms, because we have a lot of norms, international norms. And when you want to move from the lab to the society at the global level, it's necessary that what you are doing is compliant with legislation, regulation in the other jurisdiction. So it's necessary that you have a strong knowledge about what happens outside our country. So that is something. We have also funds that is essential, among the other things.
Now, I would like to zoom out a bit from the mechanics of recognition to the deeper questions of responsibility in AI itself. So you work at a unique intersection where technical research meets ethics, standards, and even global policy. So could you please reflect on your research journey and share that what initiated led you to engage deeply in this field, as well as even the question or motivations that have continued to shape your work over these years?
Oh, thank you so much for that question. That question I love that question because that make me remember everything that I experienced in my life. Like when I joined the computer science, when I choose the computer science course, I choose because I love games, and I thought that it would be possible to create games. Observe that it was in the prior millennials. I'm 15 years old, so I was very curious about that. and I love programming in computer. I love that. But at some point of my career, like around 10 years ago, I made a deep reflection. In fact, I had this reflection before that. Posed the question to me like, what is the meaning of my life? Is only to program computers, publish paper, teach. That's it. I wake up every morning, go to the university, doing my research, teach some class, and come back. I was looking for something beyond that. As I came from a poor family in the poor region in Brazil, I always consider some question that is, how can I bring all my technology, all my scientific development to that poor region to improve the quality of life of that people. So that was now in my career, try to answer how I can bring back what I already developed, uh, my contribution to the global society to benefit people that really need. So I found in the domain of regulation, governance, elaboration of technical standard, the answer for that question. So observe, I start with curiosity. After that, try to find the meaning of my life.
That's a meaningful story of yours, Professor. As AI continues to advance at an unpredictable pace, ethical discussion often struggle to keep up. So from your standpoint, what do you think is the most underestimated ethical risk of AI today, especially from the perspective of a scientist developing the system?
Yeah, I think that I have multiple answers for your question. From the technical community, I of course uh, I cannot make a general comment, generalize, but most of the people that work in the technical community still believe that something bad will not happens if when people are using AI-based technology. Like they are very naive in that sense. When I interact with talk with when I'm talking about risks, artificial intelligence, what this kind of the development can pose challenge to democracy, to the way that you live, to the well-being and so on. People say, okay, no, 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 you're totally wrong. That will not happen. Or that is not our responsibility. So people try to underestimate the risks, the real risks of AI. Most of the time, because of their own training, we used to check our models based on some metrics, error metrics that say, okay, if your system fail 3% of the cases, that's a good system, or 2%, that is a good system. So you try to see only the numbers. But the problem is the numbers do not represent a lot when you are in the very critical situations. For instance, 0.01% of error only can make can trigger an atomic bomb if you have a AI-based system operating uh, maybe a plan or something like that. So a base. So people do not understand in that sense. What would happen when the system fail, when this system is interacting with children? Maybe that children could commit suicide. Maybe the children could not have some part of that brain well developed. So people underestimate the risks and overestimate the models. Like people think, okay, We have that systems, and the system can be real sentient, real intelligent, and that is pretty dangerous because people that do not work with the technical side do not understand the technology. And sometimes you believe in the word of experts. Like imagine that someone like Elon Musk that say, okay, we are creating intelligence, real intelligence. But what is the background of Elon Musk to say that? No background. He has a huge team of scientists. And if you pose that question for a real scientist, the answer will be totally different. Probably you'll see a lot of chat GPT, LLM is a real intelligence. No, they do not understand what they are doing. They are only make some matches, uh, uh, matching specific words. So I have I have a answers like risks that are underestimated, limitation of the models, and another element that I would like to add is education. When you're talking about AI, uh, you're always thinking about, okay, I need to proliferate a lot of AI courses. That's good. That depends. If I ask you what would be the main source of the problems that you see in the AI domain today, the answer from me is the people that create this kind of development. People that has strong backgrounds on the technical domain. So what is missing? In my view, the missing is something very, very basic. The capability of being empathetic, compassionate, and altruism. If you think, if these people thinking about the other needs, thinking about others, most of this problem would not happen. When you're talking about ethical AI, you are talking about applied ethics directly because you are thinking about, okay, are you creating a technology? What would be the impact? Positive and negative. You try to make this reflection from the other point of view. So you need to reshape the education, not only to incorporate at all level AI costs, but in my view, we need to promote three basic elements: empathy, compassion, and altruism. And you can translate this in costs. So if you do that, certainly you have a very good world in the future.
Looking toward the future, beyond technical sophistication, I would love to ask you what types of AI or robotic innovation would you personally call a true breakthrough for humanity? Not for its technical sophistication, but for the way it responsibly shapes society.
Oh, that is a that's a very nice question. Also, for a roboticist, this is a very challenging task because you have so many developments, so many experience, quite interesting. But if I choose one of them or two of them, I would focus on nanorobots. Nanorobot is fantastic. It's a kind of robot that is very, very, very small at nanoscale, for instance, or micro scale, that could be used in medical application. Imagine a nanorobot that could be introduced in circulatory system and deliver drugs or make some surgery with a high precision or make regenerate tissues. That is for me, it's fantastic. So if you could do that, maybe you can make our life easier. We can also uh, find improve the quality of or the recovery uh, uh, from surgery. We improve yeah, the quality of solution for the medicine, in fact. Another example that I like a lot also, that is pretty aligning with some past work, it's about a robot for search and rescue. Like imagine a disaster situation and you need to find the victims, you need to rescue these victims. I love this kind of the development. That is very, very useful for humanitarian application. So if you could elaborate more complex robots that can uh, find and rescue victims in the very complex environment, that would be really fantastic.
Thank you for sharing that. So this brings us back to the essential question that underpins everything VinFuture stands for. Why recognition matters. Professor Prestes, you have supported many scientific initiatives throughout your career. So from your perspective, why is the act of nominating outstanding scientific work is so important for the progress of the global scientific community?
Recognition, it's very important for several reasons. In my view, recognition is the culmination of a hard and intensive work. As you know, doing research is not easy. There are a lot of up and downs for several reasons, as you know. And being our work recognized is what everyone that work in the academia want in the end of the day. But this recognition also bring the work to the stage, put spotlights, and tell everyone this work is important and relevant. In my view, this created a multiplier effect that can speed up the investment, testing, and adoption of high impactful technology. Basically, the work becomes a lighthouse, tell the world, look, that is exactly what you need to pay attention to. Therefore, our work as a nominator, it's very important. We need to indicate where we need, as a global community, to concentrate our efforts, where we need to invest, what direction we need to follow. In this sense, I'm very proud to be a person that can contribute with this mission, to identify nominees and also to say, okay, please look at this kind of research that is very, very relevant.
That's a wonderful insight. So drawing from the journey as a scientist, policymakers, and nominator, why do you believe VinFuture is a platform worthy of the global scientific community's trust and also one of the world's most meaningful scientific contributions?
Yeah, I have several points to highlight in this sense. VinFuture platform allows recognized work from any part of the group, um, uh, from the globe, from any group, from any country, in a truly inclusive manner. That is, for me, is the most important part. The inclusivity of this award. So the nominees do not depend on government to be indicated, or a small group of the people that indicate only its member for an award. That happens all the time when you're talking about with some colleagues. That situation happens. Like they say, okay, the government appoint a specific person and say, okay, but this person do not have the same background that another. So we don't basically VinFuture remove this wall and put the citizens on the stage in that sense, because anyone can nominate someone else. In addition, observe that this nomination is not only say, okay, I will appoint someone. No, we need to prepare a use documentation that provide evidence about the relevance of the work and its potential nominee. So it's not only to say, okay, that person deserve to be recognized. We need to prove that. And the documentation is huge. I participated twice in the nomination process, and I must confess that it was a pretty challenge because it's not so simple to collect that data. And I provide the only nominees, even having the opportunity to provide three, but it was so intense to collect all the data and say, okay, this person deserves to be recognized. And that's also show the commitment of a VinFuture platform to make correct and adequate recognition, because they already have a lot of documentation to analyze, proofs to make a real assessment to select the best candidates. And in addition, with that, with the process, I saw in the Sci-Tech week and also the ceremony of awards, the commitment of the foundation, and also the high quality of the nominee. It was, in my view, incredible. And after the ceremony, I confirmed my suspicions that this Future Award is not only an award, but, in my view, an award equivalent to the what I used to call Asian Nobel Award, because of the high quality of the experts. I was sat beside someone that discovered the vaccine for HPV that benefit a lot of people around the globe. That's unbelievable. It's not only say, okay, someone develop a piece of technology that is funny, fancy. No, this person was sat beside me. I did not recognize, but I suspect that because when we started talking, she said, "Oh, okay, I work in that domain." Okay, she is one of the awardee. So really, that happens because of the potential for the benefit of the global society.
As now we approach to the end of our conversation, I would like to ask if you could share one message with the global scientific community this year. What would you say to encourage scientists to actively submit nomination for the VinFuture Prize 2026 for help bring life-changing research to the global stage?
Send in your nomination. Recognize your colleagues. Our recognition is not individual, but rather the result of hard work of people, families, community, ultimately a nation. Thus, a recognition of this level means a lot for everyone involved, directly and indirectly, in this work. It can trigger several other initiatives that will benefit people at local, regional, and global level. So make this recognition. Recognize what the development is that is important, that can contribute to the global society. And again, this recognition goes to a particular person, but observe that this person creates some technology or develop that you also benefit yourself. So it's a bidirectional recognition. In fact, you are recognizing something that is benefit for you, even you're not directly involved in that research.
Thank you so much, Professor Prestes, for sharing your insights with us today, not only as a scientist, but also as a thoughtful voice on responsibility and the future of innovation. I strongly believe that your perspective reminds us that science advances most powerfully when excellence is recognized with the attention and commitment to humanity.
Thank you so much.
And of course, to our audience, thank you so much for listening, and please stay connected with us through our social media channels, including YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, and of course, our official website, so you can stay updated on upcoming conversation with leading scientists from all around the world. And once again, we would like to remind you that the nomination for the VinFuture Prize 2026 are now open, and we are warmly invite members for the global scientific communities to take part in this collective effort to elevate science that truly matters. We look forward to welcoming you to the next episode of the Unveil the Future Season 4. By then, stay tuned and goodbye.